Ah, now all of my sound personally is gone.
Ah, when I clicked the
And then it just doesn't work.
yeah, it's being a brat. Okay, so hopefully everybody can hear me now. I believe this may be functioning.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yep.
All
I can
right,
hear
good.
you there. Let me. Do you think it's good on the stream? Because I'll mute.
Chat is reporting they can hear now.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, guys. Sorry about that. Like I said, the kobolds are
For
winning.
some reason, I still don't hear her over stream.
You mean Discord?
Yeah.
I don't have it.
I
Do you
hear
have me
you on
muted?
Discord just fine.
Yeah, it seems everybody but me can hear you over Discord.
Fortunately,
Well, luckily, you can hear her in real life.
Right, he's sitting 3 feet away from me,
Not
so
when I
it'll be
had both
okay.
headphones on, so I'm gonna have to sit with one headphone on.
That'll be
But
okay.
okay.
All right, let's try this again, guys. So yes, you had just descended a well in the destroyed college, looking for the magic users who the city guard are hoping are not perpetrating the attacks, but are trying to figure out who is doing this and why, because it seems like perhaps somebody doesn't want magic to return to the city. So, with no further ado, and hopefully no more tech problems. Yeah, laugh it up, fuzzball.
It is us.
It is, in fact, you. After descending the well into the depths underneath, you find yourselves in a cistern. It is dark. You can hear the sound of water dripping in the distance, and light coming down from various points above kind of filters through the gloom a little bit, showing the area. You can see roots have grown through the walls in various places.
Are we supposed to have a map?
You are supposed to have a map. Do you not have a map?
I don't have a map.
You don't have a map. Why is this? What?
I'm
Today,
sorry.
today is the day of trouble.
Find the map, bomb the map, bomb the map.
It shows that
I mean,
you exist on the map.
I have a gray wasteland of nothing.
You have
Should
a gray
I
wasteland of
attempt
death.
to-
Refresh, please.
Okay.
It would be
Oh.
today that all this happens.
Yep.
I know the game is private. What are you talking about?
Oh, where are those beverages?
So, how about them Knicks?
I think it's their year. Oh,
Sports.
Of course.
this is killing me.
Those tree roots.
Go team!
I'm so sorry.
Hopefully
It's
they go
okay.
to the playoffs.
Hooray the sports ball!
Sports ball is my favorite.
Hello, kitty.
I have a map.
Yay!
Yay!
Okay, victory is ours. Thank you, everybody who's watching. We appreciate
you, I'm
your
so
indulgence as we learn how to make this work. Don't worry, between your map problems and my kobold issue, we'll get through it. All right, you can see the tree roots there. They've grown up under the water. The water here is about knee deep, so it's not deep enough that it's untraversable, but it's certainly irritating.
Knee deep on who? I'm pretty short.
Fair enough. It probably on Mordu because I believe he's about what
He's
6
a
feet tall. I
small
think?
boy. Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
So it
Oh,
might be
yeah.
a little deeper on those of you who are smaller. Frost is up to his belly and is looking very displeased about the whole prospect.
Hey, Beth. I apologize to interrupt again, but we've lost a video.
Again? How did this even happen? It shouldn't have lost video.
Yeah, the map is gone.
That's weird. It shows everything's
stole it.
working properly on my screen.
It's showing fine on my screen too.
Apparently only one of us can have a map.
Well, I'm looking at it on the Twitch stream.
I can see the
Hmm.
Twitch stream.
Yeah.
See it on
Same.
the Twitch stream.
Okay. Then I don't know why, but on my view it's gone.
Tonight is the
sounds
night
like
of
you need to
technological
refresh.
problems. Tonight is the night.
Yeah, our first enemy is technology.
Yes, it is a
Can we
CR20
get
creature.
experience for this?
Yes, you get XP. If we slay the technology, we get XP. That's sweet, sweet XP.
Yep.
Get some loot.
Yeah, what does technology drop besides us?
That's the technology. Jokes on us. The technology drops all of us.
Yep.
Sadness. It drops sadness.
Yes, it
So-
does.
Mostly it drops calls and connections.
Yep.
Fair. All right, so you are in this this underground space here, with no exact direction of where you're going, but with any luck, you'll be able to find your way. You know you're looking for the mages. Aviara knew that this was here, but I don't think Aviara has probably ever hung out in the cisterns underneath the college.
I did not.
Not really her scene.
So, here we
So-
are in the wet.
This is great.
Should have brought a change of clothes.
I told you we should have used those uniforms.
You were correct.
So, which way?
I think it is fun. Zima splishes around.
Or no,
Certainly a
that's
change
the
of
thing.
scenery.
Like, no.
Wow.
Well,
I guess it's pick a direction.
Let's explore.
well, you're the one leading the way, Aviara.
I feel like that's a bad idea. Um, I know my way around upstairs, not down here.
Well, what about the dog?
Frost has never been down here either.
Well, obviously.
Well,
But he
then one
has a
direction's
nose.
as good as another.
Let's go past the tree. Let's go this way.
Let's go this way. Not want to be in the front, though.
I kind of don't either. I'm gonna stay back here.
And in Reduce
I
is
will
kind
go
of-
into the front.
Zima can go first, it's fine.
Zima go. Zima's having fun.
The cisterns, the water's quite cold, and it does echo as you splash through it. You can kind of hear it reverberating across out through the space, as though these hallways go on a long distance through this dim light. Fortunately, every so often there are grates up above, allowing light to shine down, giving you the ability to see. And on the walls, you can see there are mage lights that have been lit for who knows how long, but still casting dim light, allowing you to see around corners and roughly where you're going.
Is that what the blue things are?
That is, in fact, what the blue things are. They're casting light.
I like that.
I am not very much one for stealth, but maybe we don't go running around corners and, peek before we jump around corners.
Sounds like a good idea.
Also, I thought Zima was going first. Why is everybody putting Zima in backup group?
Zima's moving too slowly.
Zima needs to hurry up.
If we're supposed to sneak, shouldn't someone sneaky go first?
I don't believe that Sneaky is going to help with Zima around.
Very hard to sneak in water.
As you continue wandering through the tunnels, you round the corner, you see this corridor here is covered with very thick tree roots, as though they've just grown out of the walls and
Oh,
into
that
the
doesn't-
water, blocking the passage almost entirely. Though you can see down past them into the room at the far end, there seems to be a staircase leading somewhere.
I'm getting some creepy fairy tale vibes down here. Anyone able to cast Fireball?
In
They
the
didn't
water?
tree out at the temple.
I will try to hack at foliage with greatsword.
The roots
Perhaps
aren't...
we should make sure the trees aren't, alive. Well, more alive than a regular tree.
To be fair, if he hacks at them with the greatsword, they won't be alive for long.
Fair
Right,
enough.
that is what I'm doing.
Go for
Zima swings at the roots and cuts several off right where they meet the wall. However, they grow back almost instantaneously,
I told you.
as though accelerated through magical means, blocking passage forward.
Disappointing.
As you cut through the vines further on down this hallway, you hear a loud as though something is displeased with your activities.
Tried to tell you. I
Followed
tried
by
to
loud
warn
splashing.
you.
Oh dear.
Nobody listens to Mordo.
You could have
Nope.
gone first.
I will peek around next corner.
When Zima sticks his head around the next corner, all he sees is a corridor leading to a sharp bend at the end. The sound of splashing beyond gets a little louder as though something big is moving around in the water.
Yeah, that way sounds like fun.
What is it,
Fun
Zima?
for who?
Fun for Zima. Who else matters?
Gee. Thanks, big
Not coming.
guy.
Mordo is hesitant.
Oh, come on. When has Zima ever steered you wrong?
Just now.
Zima, we just met you, so
And I have never steered you wrong.
That is a fair statement.
He makes an excellent point.
Eden looks back to Mordo. I mean, you can stay here by the loud, growly trees if you'd like, but I'm gonna follow the guy with the big sword.
To be clear, the trees are not growling, they were growing. The growling comes from further beyond.
Yes, I know that.
Just making sure.
I mean, we're not interested in the stairs? Is that a thing that we're not?
I am very much interested in the stairs.
Well, something's coming and we couldn't get through the trees, so stairs might have to wait.
We might have to find another way around them.
The splashing
Right.
grows louder as you stand.
Right, it's like old saying
better
goes.
make
Can't
a
see
decision.
We
staircase
should
from a
probably
tree.
make a decision pretty quickly.
Okay, decision made.
Around the corner beyond, a set of vines kind of reach around the corner as though gripping the edge of the wall, and this creature that looks more plant than flesh it kind of leans around the edge, great glowing green eyes, staring at the group. It doesn't really have malice, but it doesn't seem happy that you're there either.
Hello.
We have something in common.
Absolutely.
Hello. Great tree thing.
Oh dear.
Great and powerful, no doubt.
Mm,
What is your name? Do you have one? Can you leave us alone or help us find someone who can leave us alone?
It takes a step forward and waves its vines threateningly.
I do believe its name is Roll for Initiative.
I believe it
It's
might be time to put that sword to work, sir.
Alright, roll for initiative, my friends.
Oh boy.
Its name is Roll for Initiative, great.
I like it.
I don't... Why is it named
Mm,
Curvy? I
Did
don't
that
know why
work?
it named the vine golem Curvy. You guys have not set yourself to being in combat. I shall do that for you.
I was about
Ah.
to say, I can't find the die.
But there we go.
There we go.
Oh, I don't want to go first. Roll better.
Oh, damn it.
That's first nat 20 of the night when it's not wanted.
Thank you. Beef. Stop.
All right. So we are starting with Eden being probably a little
So-
closer to this beast than he wants to be.
Eden, faced with the tree waving frantically, looks at him for a minute and decides that he's going to try and see if he can discern what language he speaks. Hello, again. Cast comprehend languages.
It snarls, which doesn't come up in the closed captioning that Eden now has, more or less. It comes up as just snarls.
Oh, joy.
His name is Snarls Barkley.
Oh boy.
Not to be confused with his brother Snarls Xavier.
You're fired.
Judging by your reaction, I take it that did not work.
No, it does not speak a comprehensible language, and I'm going to go behind the guy that has the sword. Bye.
Once again, now everybody loves Zima.
Relish.
Oh,
Relish.
I ready my crossbow and fire at it.
All right.
Choo.
Should really get a crossbow.
All right, you hit it. And the bolt kind of buries itself in the viney foliage. It doesn't bleed, though.
Oh dear.
Really? You decided shooting an arrow, a piece of wood, at a piece of wood was a good idea?
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
It's literally made of pieces of wood!
Oh, do you have a better idea?
I
Run
might.
away! That's my vote!
I mean, it's psychological warfare. You're shooting its own babies back at it.
Right then. Next up is Aviara.
Aviara steps forward, and the stars around her eyes seem to glow a little bit. And her eyes flash, and she casts Sacred Flame at the tree.
The tree does not like it, precious.
Did it hit the tree?
We're about to find out. It did, in fact, not hit the tree.
Oh no.
The fire kind of erupts just shy of it, but goes out in the water underneath. Mordu. Oh, looks like everything froze.
Try to hack at the tree.
Okay. All right, good.
Yes,
Thank you.
that is
my
the plan.
my
Mordo
Discord shows
steps forward. Oh, go ahead.
my Discord shows that chicken to freeze completely, and I was like, oh no, the kobolds have returned.
Anywho, with as much agility as he can manage in the swimming pool, he goes to poke at the thingy with the stabby stick.
Well, that could have gone better.
Here, we can't hear you, Beth.
That could have gone better. He steps forward and tries to stab at it. He's both too far, and he misses anyway.
Right.
You're 5 feet too far away. So you're just standing back here like, ah, 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 ah.
All right.
That seems on brand.
So,
Zima.
So Zima cracks his knuckles and steps up with great sword and shows these children how it's done.
Or not.
That is not how it's done.
He can't be a good example, so he's being a terrible warning. He steps up and tries to bring his sword down on the thing with a mighty yell, but the sword gets stuck kind of in the ceiling.
Ah.
And he's just stuck. Ah. All
Fighting
sound
in
and fury. I'm gonna move Zima back a step here because he moved further forward than he should have. The beast, looking at Zima in his audacity, the sheer audacity of him, reaches out with its claws to attempt to slash him. And promptly misses. It's distracted by the fact that he's stuck in the ceiling, so it looks up trying to figure out what's going on as it sort of swipes at him, but doesn't quite connect.
Hey, that is not nice.
Henrik!
Henrik's going to slide up next to Zima and attempt to stab in between all the vines.
Fair enough.
Henrik is getting to the root of the problem.
I'm trying.
I don't have words for how much this pains me. And I'm married to him.
Well, at least someone's being affected.
Yeah, it me. Henrik comes forward and thrusts forward the rapier, biting deep into the creature, kind of straight through the vines. He can feel some resistance as it catches edges of vines, and this clear sap-like fluid flows out of the hole in its chest. It's in the hole. Eden.
Eden, who has no interest in trying to hit the stick with more sticks, who reaches behind him to his pack and pulls out his lute and decides that he is going to try and inspire his party to do just a little bit better, guys. Come on, really.
Is he playing
All
something
right.
upbeat then?
He's going to, are you coming to the tree? They strung up a man, they say he murdered 3.
Fair enough. Sounds like a tavern up in here now.
So,
Good
the ship,
acoustics.
for some reason was it used up in the one shot and not reset?
Okay, well, give yourself a full rest. That'll solve the problem.
Okay.
Yay, mechanics. Alright, so you are giving... What exactly were you doing with the music? You're giving bardic inspiration?
Bardic inspiration, hopefully. Yeah.
Fair enough. Who are we inspiring?
We are going to inspire the one who has fire. So
Ah. Fair enough. Rallis.
Well, I'm not going to do anything useless like play music, so I'm going to shoot my crossbow again.
because that
That's
worked so
cold.
well the first time. Why do
Twing.
you keep shooting sticks at stick? What is wrong?
I'm trying to demoralize it. I'm basically shooting corpses at it.
That's one way of handling the problem.
Strange.
Right, you
things
fire, but
did
your
happen.
bow, you miss. It just goes past the creature into the stone. You hear a thunk as the metal of the arrow slams into the wall behind it.
Zima, duck.
Aviara.
Avi will move up slightly, feeling emboldened by the song, and will attempt again to set it on fire. What was that?
Oh no!
Wow.
Wow.
Still has to save though, or it takes 1 whole damage.
It fails its save, so she casts the flame, and this little this tiny little candle flame just
Someone blow on it, hurry.
indeed.
Fan
Or
the
two.
flames, fan the flames.
This is going well.
So well.
Behind Zima, like, kind of grabs his arm and then, like, takes his sword, like. It also
Are you
fans
moving
the place.
forward, Myrtle?
Yes, moving forward. He's up here somewhere
You-
near Zima, but close enough to like hit him.
So he's like
Hopefully.
leaning around Zima, like Zima's like a door frame, like.
Using him as a shield, essentially.
While that technically shouldn't work, it's funny enough that I will allow it. It is, however, less effective than he might have hoped, as he's trying to like reach around Zima and like. It doesn't seem to quite. He cuts off a couple of leaves and they drift down and lie on the surface of the water, and really he's just succeeded in offending the creature. It looks down at the missing leaves, looks at Mordu and just like personally offended.
Ah, great.
Zima.
Okay, now that I have tested the structural integrity of this tunnel, and it seems like it's not going to collapse on us, now I'm going to attack the monster.
Seems
Very
like a
well.
plan.
You do the thing.
Do the thing.
He does the thing.
Yay!
Now, see, that is how we do it.
Zima, taking better measure of the size of the tunnel, decides to come at a 45-degree angle to give himself the most space, and kind of rolls the sword off his shoulder at a 45-degree angle down and buries the side of it into this creature, slicing off a number of vines which fall into the water and kind of squirm away. And more of this clear sap leaks from it and lets out a snarling shriek of pain. Now, with its focus firmly on Zima, who has succeeded in while it finds Mordu offensive, Zima has hermed it. I mean, Henrik. Indeed. Henrik certainly irritated it with the stabby stab. However, Zima has disembodied things of it. That's the right word. I can English. We're just going with it. Shut up, you.
Vowels?
It takes a step back and promptly. And vines lash out of its fingertips, and it tries to drag Zima to it.
Oh.
Zima, duck.
The 21. I presume a 21 hits.
Oh, yes.
Please make a dex save. Jay, if you click the button. If you go to the back, go back to the chat. Click the button where it says dex save in the middle. Alright, Zima is dragged toward the creature. And kind of slams into the wall, which causes some abrasions and bleeding, also as the thorny vines wrap around his arm and drag him closer. Henrik. Yeah, 2.
I will pursue and try to attack again.
Alright.
Maybe. Does it still have vines wrapped around Zima?
Yeah, it's got them wrapped around his arm.
Can I attack the vines?
You absolutely may.
Alright.
Henrik, with pinpoint precision, looks at the vines attaching themselves to Zima's arm and catches them with a perfect cutting slice with his rapier, disentangling them and freeing Zima and causing the creature a fair amount of discomfort since it was kind of invested in that move. Another snarling scream of fury and discomfort.
Oh, thank you.
Eden.
Eden is very happily standing back, still strumming his lute, but feels like he wants to still be kind of useful. So he takes a deep breath and yells at the creature, "Your family tree is a tumbleweed!" And not very great at it.
Its family tree was indeed a tumbleweed, and it is proud of that fact. However, it is a little hurt by the assumption that tumbleweeds are not a noble and proud race, and it stings a little bit, and it kind of glares over at Eden like, "Ow.
Why have you done this?
Oh,
I can't believe you've done this." Rallus.
Alright. Move forward. Crossbow.
third time's the charm.
This time he hits, and the crossbow bolt buries right between the two glowing things that look like eyes, sort of, just sticking out of its face like... It doesn't seem overly bothered by the presence of the bolt, but it does look like it hurts.
Wait, did you just insinuate that you have a pump action crossbow?
You got a problem with that?
Doesn't everyone?
However,
There's nothing wrong with pump action.
the pump-action crossbow, the arrow penetrates out the back of its head, and it stops moving and just kind of slumps into a pile of slimy, viney mess.
Is it dead?
It's certainly not moving.
Someone poke it.
I glance over to Aiden. You were saying?
Well, dead things can kill things too, I guess.
I think we should light it on fire just
But
to be
I
safe.
think it was my insult that caused it.
Sure.
So,
Just
Zima
as much as
slaps,
it was my attacks.
Zima slaps Henrik on the back, probably way harder than necessary. Says, thank you very much. I will never make fun of your tiny pokey sword ever again.
Henrik sort of staggers forward and says, don't mention it.
Shall we continue?
I don't seem
Does
to
the
be
tree
able to
drop anything useful?
be in
You
combat.
also, as the vines lie there, you feel kind of a slow, like a rumble under the ground, as though something has changed, not too far away, in this creaking kind of woody sound. We're gonna get sued for that.
Oh, right. Sorry. TM Nintendo.
I would like
So-
to not be in combat anymore.
Yeah, that would be great.
Kitty's dead.
Thank you. How was it alive?
One should examine this thing. Someone that is not me.
That
Eden
seems
goes
fair.
up to. Eden makes his way towards the mass now that it is dead and cannot hit him, and takes a look to see if there's anything useful there.
He shuffles through the
Perception?
vines. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, he shuffles through the vines. They're kind of slimy, so he sort of regrets touching them the minute he does. However, he digs around a bit and comes up with a hand-sized gem that is deep green in color and has little gold inclusions towards the center.
Is the gem
And he
truly
looks at the
outrageous?
gem,
Truly, truly outrageous.
and Eden just looks at the gem, sends a look back to Murdo, and shoves it in his back.
Understandable.
I'm going to go and take a look down the hall.
See if there's anything else that you need to stab, Zima.
Oops, why is this? Okay.
Okay, well, past the viney creature, there is a large open space with columns that looks as though they are somehow structural. There are a number of roots having grown into this area. Rallis, can you please roll an Arcana check for me? I'll take that as a no.
Yes, I can roll it.
Oh, does anybody else have Arcana?
I
I
believe
don't
I
have
do.
Arcana.
All right, Aviara, yes, you should probably do that too.
Actually, I don't. I mean, I'm not proficient in it, but I can roll it.
You can roll it.
I can
Ooh,
fake it.
You can fake it.
Fake it till we make it.
Did I do that?
That was Zima rolling by mistake.
That was me on accident.
Oh, okay.
Zima was cleaning his Arcana and it went off.
Trademark Nintendo.
Those who were looking at the creature and who have magical inclinations suspect that it wasn't a living, breathing creature in and of itself. It's more likely that it was some kind of construct.
Who would construct a tree?
Same people who are constructing and sending wraiths out to kill people?
Seems pretty
I
obvious.
don't know,
to
a
me.
lunatic?
My sentiments exactly.
DM, how deep is the water?
Maybe 2-3 feet deep. It's not very deep. So it's about knee height on Mordu, so a little bit under knee height on Zima. It is quite cold.
Anything look interesting or unique about any of the pillars, like levers or anything?
Perception, if you'd like to look around.
Yes.
Well, Eden's a nosy bitch, so we're gonna go ahead and do that too.
As is Mordo.
So many
As
dice.
everyone rolls the same.
I'm pretty impressed, honestly. Where did you come from?
What?
I thought everybody rolled and then more showed up.
I just took my time perceiving.
Those are all some pretty good perception rolls, except for Ralph.
Yeah. Rallis is distracted by the fact that they were just attacked by a vine monster, and he finds that quite
I'm not
disturbing.
wearing the right shoes. My feet are soaked.
You are
However-
very cold.
Everybody else in this room, they look around, and when they look up, they can see that there's sort of a balcony running around the top of this room, as though it's 2 floors and there's an edge.
Hey,
There's a balcony
Uh.
running around the top edge of this floor. Up here.
hey, crossbow boy, how about you shoot a crossbow up there, see if anything gets knocked loose?
You
Shoot a
see-
butt?
Crossbows fire bolts. They don't fire crossbows. You don't have a crossbow that fires other crossbows.
Time for a
Do I
magical
look
item, I
like
think.
Someone who fights often?
What? I am so confused right now.
Eden
Shoot it
points up
what?
at the balcony. Up there.
Oh.
Shoot thing.
For what
But
purpose?
there's nothing up there. There's just a balcony.
I'm trying to see if anything is up there.
Yell really loud.
But shooting is more fun.
Hey, is anybody in balcony?
Thank you, Zima.
Zima's voice
Yes.
echoes down the corridors, and you don't hear an immediate response.
That might not have been wise.
Maybe that's where the stairs lead to.
That is nonsense. Zima is very wise.
That's not a bad thought, Madu. We should go check to see if now that the vine creature is dead, the vines that were growing out of the wall might be gone.
But what if there's riches and treasure and wonderful things on this floor?
Oh?
Do you
not-
see anything useful? Because I don't. I just see water. The stairs might get us out of water. I like the idea of being out of water.
But we haven't seen the whole floor yet.
I see a tree.
Indeed, you see trees having grown through the walls here, much like other places, like where you came down. It looks like trees from up above in the remains of the college may have sent their roots down into this system for a more ready supply of water.
I think we should go check to see if the stairs are
At least have an
what?
escape plan if needed.
right. Stairs? Stairs? Stairs?
You people are no fun.
I want to get out of the water, so
And
stairs.
plenty of fun when I'm not cold and wet and covered in slime.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Mordo is more just going to the stairs. He wants to get out of the well.
Indeed, as you round the corner, you realize that the root system is no longer there. Ignore the fact that it shows up when you walk through it. That shouldn't have happened. Hold, please. And that should be that. There we go.
And stairs.
I fixed it.
Stairs!
Indeed,
And
there are
climbs
stairs
up-
at the end of the tunnel, and the vines are
Oh.
no longer blocking the way.
I would not have guessed that.
All right, you're
So-
sending the stairs, I presume?
Eden is getting the hell out of the wet.
Same.
Fair
Agreed.
enough.
I am wearing my wolf hat sideways like gangster.
Okay, then.
Well, that was unpleasant.
Indeed,
Extremely.
you climb up the stairs, wet and squishy. However, at the top of the stairs, you find lit torches. And there's obvious signs that there have been people here.
I'll be
Looks
warming
like-
my hands by the torch. Just
It is quite warm and toasty.
Oh, but there's no water to splash in.
You're welcome to go back down if you want to, Zima.
Maybe I will.
maybe not yet.
Then everybody cry, oh no, Zima's not here, and how will we fight the monster?
As you get close to the door, you hear the soft sounds of conversation coming from the other side.
Eden goes up to the door very quietly and carefully and places his very long, sensitive elven ears against the door to listen.
And what do your elven ears see? Wait.
Am I
Uh,
doing
I'm
perception?
not talking.
No, you don't need to.
Elven
They're having a conversation over there. You can hear somebody talking about magical theory on the other side, as though maybe teaching a class?
Zima, shh. I hear. There's a class in session. He strains his ears to hear as much as he could.
It is slightly above beginner level, where they're having a conversation about magical theory. You can hear somebody lecturing. It's a female voice.
Maybe we could sneak down this hallway.
I think so.
DM,
Yeah.
does Avi know if this is like a class, like part of the college? Have they come up out of the well into an area she might recognize?
This doesn't actually look like a part of the college that Aviara has ever been in, and seems to
Okay.
reason that it would still be subterranean.
Right.
Would she recognize any of the voices?
It's been a hot minute since I've been here.
We're
I-
definitely not
I'll
alone.
try. If I
Eden gestures
get
towards
up to
Aviara and
door.
points to the door. Listen,
all right, I'm listening.
Do hot minutes move faster than cold minutes?
Hush,
No,
Zima.
they move slower.
You put your ear up against the door and you hear the sounds of a class being taught. It seems like it's more or less a Magic 202 class. It's a 200 level class talking about theory and casting and spell components. It seems strangely normal class stuff, not? There's nothing dark or weird or creepy about it. It's the same kind of things that you started learning when you were taking classes.
So not a nefarious class.
Do I recognize the voice of
Not directly, but you didn't know every single college professor.
'Tis true?
Do we interrupt or do we keep looking? But they might know something that we don't.
Still could sneak down this hall.
I agree with Zima.
There's no sense interrupting a class if we don't have to. I mean,
Rude.
it is.
Right, that would be very classist.
Let's do the sneak. Let's keep going. We can always come back.
Just saying, these are the first people we've come across. They might know something. Apparently, the bard is outnumbered.
Usually, da.
I would tell you to bite me, but I might like it.
Also, da.
And we're sneaking.
And you're sneaking. Roll stealth.
Sneaking.
See how well that goes.
All of us?
Anybody who's being sneaky.
Well, I'm trying to be sneaky.
That went well.
That went super well.
Fine for me.
Spoiler, it did not, in fact, go well for Eden.
You're just mad they wouldn't go in the classroom.
Yep, he ruined it on
And just-
purpose.
Sulkily stomping.
Yeah.
Alright.
And just tuning their instrument as they walk down the hall.
Twang,
Ding.
twang, twang.
And so
Toss
everybody
a
kind of
coin to your witcher.
Yeah, everybody kind of lines up behind Zima, who is surprisingly quiet for his nature and size, and Eden lines up along with them and starts just... He has a song stuck in his head and he can't get rid of it and just starts singing and be-by, like, headbanging along with it.
Zima just stops and turns slowly and looks back at Eden.
Have a song in my heart. What do you expect?
Silence?
Sneak.
This is
No.
this is the sound of silence.
He starts singing that.
Even I know that's not true.
As you round the corner, nobody comes flying out to attack you. However, a door opens further down the way.
Oh.
It does, and a man steps out looking down the hallway. He sees Zima at first, pales, steps back into the office,
I'd be there, but I can't.
and closes the door.
Zima just kind of stopped and like lifted a hand and waved his fingers.
Are you having trouble moving, Aviara?
He's into Zima. He wasn't paying attention.
Zima turns back. I don't think we're stealthing anymore.
And just kind of gives him a look. I don't think we ever were, my friend.
And whose fault was that?
The song in my heart. Who's else?
Tell your song to shut the hell up.
Yeah, the door opened, then promptly closed.
Well.
No one came out of it?
A man opened it, stepped out into the hallway, looked down, saw Zima, promptly went pale and closed the door again. Like, nope, thanks, goodbye.
Great. I guess we'll continue to sneak, maybe, perhaps. Yes.
I don't think sneaking is necessary.
We could knock on the door and say hello.
Sure,
He
Zima.
didn't seem entirely. Now you're going to take the suggestion of asking the people, but sure.
He's afraid of Zima, so
Right? Zima knocks on the door, and from the other side, somebody says, "Nobody's home."
I didn't say I knocked on the door. I said we could knock on the door.
Oh well. Well, in that
You
case,
knocked on the door.
well, we did knock on the door.
nobody's home.
Eden just tries to see if the door is locked.
It is not.
He
This is what
opens
happens when
the
we leave
door.
plans up to Zima.
Hello?
Is Eden opening the door, or is he just talking at it?
Don't worry, he doesn't bite unless you
Is Eden
ask.
opening the door, or is he
Eden
talking
is
at it?
opening the door.
On the other side is a man wearing, he looks like he's wearing vestments that would have been like college professor robes at the time, and he's leaned up against a door behind him, like, "Who are you and why are you here?"
Well, we slayed the tree creature. You're welcome. He just steps into the room.
You killed my vine golem? Do you have any idea how long it took me to make that thing?
Do you have any idea how annoying it is when a tree attacks you for no reason?
Well, you shouldn't have been down there.
Well, excuse me. Things shouldn't be killing people up in the square.
He frowns. Wait, what? What?
Well, my party and I were, and the town market square were attacked by wraiths earlier.
My vine golem has nothing to do with that.
No, but it was the first wavy creature that we came across.
So any wavy creature is immediately suspect.
Yes.
Of course, first monster we see, we kill.
That sounds like it's going well.
Yeah, so far so good.
He sighs heavily. Well, I had nothing to do with hurting any townsfolk. It's quite the exact opposite of what we do down here, in fact.
What
Who are you people?
doing down here, anyway?
He goes quiet and doesn't answer. He goes
What
quiet
exactly
and doesn't
are
answer.
And pulls his hood down to show his ears, and asks again, "What are you doing down here?"
He frowns and stares at Eden, but doesn't answer immediately. Aviara, on the other hand, recognizes this guy's voice. He was one of the heads of the college before everything went sideways. His name is Thane Greycastle.
I'll kind of. I can't get through the door because people
Here.
are in the way.
I'll move you. There you go. Pardon me.
I'll step
Pardon
in.
me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Pardon me. Pardon me.
Pardon me. Pardon me. Dean Greycastle, is that you?
He pauses when he sees Aviara, and all of the tension that was in his face a moment ago just kind of relaxes, and he just, Aviara, is that you?
Well, yes. What are you doing down here? The college has been abandoned, but not.
He kind of chuckles. You think we really would have completely left this place?
Well, no. We're sorry about your golem.
Yes, well, I'll have to make another one, won't I? Takes time and frustration. He seems to relax. He's still standing in front of that door, but he does relax some at recognizing somebody. So you said that there were things attacking people in the city.
Wraiths. And
Wraiths?
it looked like there was an elf that summoned them, but they ran and disappeared. We were
It
hoping
isn't the
somebody
first attack.
would have information.
I'm happy to allow you to speak to the people here. There aren't very many of us. We had to retreat in a bit of a hurry and saved the students we could when everything went sideways, and we've stayed in hiding despite the change in opinion about magic. It didn't seem time yet to reveal that we were still here. And
Looks like someone is trying to make them regret lifting the ban on magic.
That wouldn't surprise me at all.
We don't know who, but that's what it looks like is happening.
You
We
know,
thought this was the best place to try to look.
hell, you're welcome to speak to any of our students, and anything I can do to be of help, I'm absolutely at your disposal. Pardon me. He looks at the rest of you. Let me introduce myself properly. I am Dean Greycastle. I think I'm the highest ranking still living member of the, Magic College here. Or what's left of it, anyway. I've been trying to keep the pieces together since everything went sideways a few years ago, and keep what little knowledge we were able to scrape out of the hands of the Inquisitors. Safe.
He was here when I first came here.
A great pleasure to meet you, Dean Greycastle.
Yes,
These are my companions. The large one with the wolf on his head, that's Seema. And this one is Baron Mordo.
That's correct.
And then we have Rallis and Henrik and Idan you've met.
Yes, well, forgive my lack of trust when you first entered. We've reason to not be overly trusting of anybody these days. So seeing that you're with Aviara, that indeed gives you an A in my book.
We are sorry about your monster. We were following the manual. It's a big book called Cisterns and Serpents. And it says that when you're in a cistern, you kill all the monsters, take all the loot, and then move on.
We're working with him. It's slow. It's slow.
He just stares for a really long time at Zima. I don't think I've ever seen that book in our library. I'd like a copy.
I'll see if I can find it.
Eden looks upset for a moment before reaching back to his backpack and pulling out the gem and going, "Will this help?"
Ah, yes, that will help a great deal. In fact, it will allow me to recast the spell, which should allow me to... He starts mumbling on about magical theories and accepts the gem gratefully.
Mordo gives Eden a look.
And Eden just looks at him and goes,
See?
We
Kill the
killed
monster,
this
take
thing.
your loot.
Yes, okay.
Her hand up.
Yes, of course, yes.
We passed a classroom and we didn't want to interrupt. Is there anyone we can speak to that isn't in class?
Yes, if you continue on down the hallway, he kind of points. We've got some dormitories, and there's some people down that way. I think there's the library. I don't know if there's anybody in it right now, but there's you can check. There's definitely people here. There are only about maybe 15, 20 of us total. It's challenging. For the gem, he roots around on his desk for a moment before pulling out an equal-sized gem and handing it to Ed and says, "This one doesn't have the magical signature in it for my golem casting, but it should be of a similar value," and puts it in
Eden
Eden's
takes
hands.
it and just looks extremely excited and puts it back in his bag and then goes, "You cast magic, yes?
Yes.
Can you warm us up? We are very wet."
Oh my good gracious, you poor darlings. Everybody into the office, please. He gestures to have everybody come in.
Wait, I have to go over here to...
Okay. All right, then.
Zima actually stays out in the hall, leaning against the wall. I prefer being cold.
Do you prefer being wet?
Don't mind, it's helping to keep me cold.
All right, then. He sort of gives Zima a sideways look like, if you say so, all right.
I was raised in the snow up in the north.
Does that make wet shoes more pleasant for you?
Have you lived in snow?
Well, no, but I mean,
Shoes are always wet in snow.
I guess you have a
Have bad
point, I
shoes.
suppose. Anyway, he sort of
If
trails
you
off.
have shoes that never get wet in snow, please let me know.
I have plenty of shoes that withstand cold and wet. These are not one of them. He looks to the dean. Warm, please.
Yes, sorry, I was distracted by the large.
Yes, I've heard of these shoes that keep out water. They're called goulashes.
That's food, Zima.
You don't eat shoes.
No, but you
Warm, please.
warm.
Dry.
Sorry, I was.
I'm sorry, Dean.
He sputters for a second, then
Happens a lot.
wiggles his fingers, and the rest of you feel your clothes dry and warm up substantially, as though you were
Getting
standing
nobody
next to
now.
a fire.
There is no sound there.
No sound.
We
Oh,
heard-
good. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Great. I missed the button. It happens more and more as you get older. He wiggles his fingers and speaks a couple of words, and all of a sudden it is warm as though you were standing next to a fire, and drives out the cold dampness of your clothing and just leaves them like you just put your favorite pajamas on out of the dryer. It is the best.
Ah.
Ah, much better.
Thank you.
Certainly an improvement.
So much.
Yes,
I feel
you-
ready to take on the world.
Now we won't look like drowned rats when we speak to the others.
Yes.
I mean, to be fair, most of us have taken a trip or two through the cisterns to get here. In the future, by the way, there's a teleportation circle that's linked to. I can give you a way to access the circle above, so that you can just come in here and not deal with Richard again.
Richard?
Richard? The
Yes, my
creature has
golem,
a
Richard.
name?
Yes, of course. He's a gigantic dick.
So he is.
No argument there.
I get it. He's made of wood. Ha ha ha.
Ugh.
Great. We'll leave you to your work. So sorry to have bothered you, and it's good to see you again.
Yes, I'm very glad to see that you made it through all that nasty business safely. You and your friends are certainly welcome here. If somebody is trying to cause trouble with magic above, then I have a vested interest in seeing that not happen. But if you said you saw an elf do the casting, who saw that?
It was me.
Yes.
I recognized. Anyway, there were wraiths attacking the market, and he was casting by the river. And when he saw me noticing him, he took off, but the wraiths remained.
Well, if he summoned them, they would have had a will of their own. Do you think you could perhaps sketch him? Is that something you can maybe just...
Yes, I think I could.
All right. In that case, if you could, he kind of shoos Rallis away from his desk a little bit so that Eden can step forward and puts a parchment along with some charcoal on the desk. If you could, or a pen, if you'd prefer that, but if anything you can do to help, I know most of the casters who remained in the city. I might be able to help you identify them.
Eden sits down. Thankfully, he's used to making his own posters for his performances, so he's not a bad hand at arting. One of the first things taught in the guild is self-promotion, you know. And so he begins to sketch the elf that he'd seen.
Wonderful, wonderful. The rest of you, we have a kitchen. I think food should be available relatively soon if you're hungry, but or if it's not, you can certainly raid our stores for. After fighting in the damp, I'm sure you're all miserable and hungry. Probably. Anyway.
Very.
But at least we're not cold.
Yes, but I can't. Yes, I can't feed you here. There's not enough room in the office. He sort of looks around awkwardly, like there's not a room in my office for. I think there's a banquet spell I know, but if I cast it in here, it would pudding everywhere. It would just be awful. I did it
So
once.
right.
It was terrible. Don't do it. Don't do don't do the banquet spell in too small a space. It goes badly.
I'll keep that in
That
mind.
sounds delicious.
Are there many elves among the people down here?
I wouldn't say many, but there are certainly a few. It depends on. I'll have to. I can look at the student records, I think. He goes shuffling over to the bookcase and pulls out a book. Yes, he's on the bookcase now. He's not climbing the bookcase, I promise. Just ignore the fact that he's scaled the bookcase on the.
It's the book is really high up there.
Yeah, he's anyway. He starts flipping through pages, looking at names and kind of trailing his finger down the mumbling while Eden draws. And by the time Eden is finished drawing, he pulls out a list, the book, and he's like, I have a list of names here, and kind of shoos Eden away from the desk and starts writing down names. He
scurries off to the wall.
And he's looking between the book and the names, not really looking at Eden's drawing yet. If you give me a few minutes to finish this, I can get this to you if you would like to wait. If you would like to go. There's some other of the. I'm sure you could talk to some of the other students. You can interrupt the class if you want. You have my permission, though. I can't promise it won't go badly for you, but good luck with that one.
Are any of the teachers from where I know? Would it be easier if I went in first? Is what I'm asking.
Well, Rabble is teaching that one. You know how she gets. You do not necessarily know Rabble, but
I'll just nod.
You recognize the name as being a half-orc evocation teacher who had a she has opinions on people being late to class and singed many people's ears. Very grouchy. I will give you the spelling of these names later so that you don't need to try and guess.
Should we do that while you're writing, or should we wait? And come back, or
you can certainly go speak to her. I know there's some students off in the commons. What is left of the commons, you can speak to them too. They might have information for you. But either way, this may take me a minute, so it's going to. He just starts muttering and trails off, which
Avi's gonna
yeah.
People
Yeah.
towards the door.
Aviara knows he gets like this sometimes.
All right.
It's the dog.
classroom, then?
Sure.
Lead the way. I don't want to be a target this time. I'm good. Eden's lot in life is just dragging behind everybody else. He's fine with it. Thank you.
See, now you can sing music.
I'm good. Thanks, Zima.
When Aviara knocks on the door, the lecture pauses, and a rather grumpy-sounding, gruff voice, Yes! Who is it?
Excuse me.
Hmm. Yeets into the room.
Can't hear you again, DM.
Yeah, that's because I always forget to push the button.
Well, you gotta push the button.
I'm trying. I should paint it red, then I won't be able to resist pushing the button.
I am Groot.
Right? I am DM. Alright, you enter, there's a gnarled, grouchy-looking half-orc standing up towards the front of the room, which has been roughly set up to look like a classroom. There's 3 students sitting at tables taking notes. Some of them have spell components scattered across their desk. It looks like you would expect from a class. When you enter, she kind of gives you the stink eye. Doesn't really seem pleased to have her class disrupted, certainly not by strangers.
I'm so sorry. Dean Greycastle said that it would be okay. Just to interrupt for a brief moment, there's been some trouble in the market square, and we just wanted to ask a few questions.
I wasn't in the market square. What are you doing in the market square? What questions? Why are you in here? Who are you?
I was shopping.
You were shopping. Was the problem that you didn't bring enough money?
No, ma'am.
No?
The problem was the wraiths that attacked?
Wraiths? There are no wraiths in the square. I didn't summon any wraiths. There are no wraiths. Are there wraiths? I don't see any wraiths.
It was an elf that summoned them, as far as we know. We were just wondering if any of the students here had that capability or knew of anybody.
Necromancy. She starts rubbing her chin, which has a few very long, curly hairs coming out of it. Not enough to be a beard, but she seems very proud of them nonetheless. And she messes with the long hairs and then rubs one of the big tusks. Necromancy. I have to take. Summoning wraiths, though. That's not. That's a little bit beyond most of my students. Most of them will be lucky if they can cast dancing lights without turning themselves purple for a week. She stares very pointedly at one of the students, who sort of shrinks down in their seat, like, oh.
Avi will just sort of whisper, "It gets better."
The student looks over. The student looks up at Avi like, I hope so. I guess maybe because the last time it was lime green.
Maybe it'll be plaid next time.
Plaid is better?
Definitely.
Maybe a nice houndstooth.
Rabble sort of looks at Aviar and looks at the student and looks back at Aviar. Well, I can certainly make an attempt to discern if anybody here would have the capacity to do such a thing. It does seem a little beyond them, though. This is mostly the 200s level classes. They're learning theory, you see, at least from me. Anyway, the dean, he teaches them to do things. I teach them to think about things. And they don't think nearly enough, if you ask me.
The dean has a sketch composite of who I saw with the wraiths.
Ah, well, it doesn't do me any good if it's not in here.
Well, maybe you can ask him to see it when he's done.
Maybe.
Avi's gonna get Eden's attention and kind of point at the students.
And looks at the students.
None
Does
of them
he
look.
recognize?
None of them look like the individual who Eden saw casting outside. They mostly look like little too young, little too green, little too scared of the teacher.
Turn to page 394.
Well, we don't want to be any more of an interruption than we already were. We're gonna step out, and if you think of anything, just let Dean Greycastle know.
Yes, I will tell him if I think of it. Well, I can probably not anything. He doesn't need to know everything that goes on in my brain, no. But I can certainly tell him if anything pops into my head about wraiths, or students, or necromancy. Yes.
Excellent.
Good.
Thank you so much. Again, I'm so sorry for interrupting.
Apology accepted. This time it seems to be for a good reason, but next time, see that you have a good one, or else things might go badly for you.
Yes, Professor.
Yes.
She's just like shooing the other ones out.
Eden doesn't need to be told twice, and just kind of whispers as soon as they're out. She's scary.
I can see why they keep that one down here in the dungeon.
So what now?
He's
Well,
excited about the
They
comments.
did say there was another hallway, and there's food. So,
Always thinking with your stomach, Murdo.
I am.
Well, I suppose that's going to be the best thing to do.
There's also the water we could go play in.
We just
I
got
think food
dry
sounds
here.
I know, that means that we can go get wet again.
Maybe on the way out.
Ah, yes,
Yay.
on the way out.
Zima, you can go the long way. We'll use the teleportation circle.
And we're walking. And we're walking. And we're
walking
listening.
the other way. See that toxic
Indeed,
person? And we're walking the other way.
You head down the hallway and around the corner. Hold on, I'll take care of Zima. He's stuck.
Trying to get to the water through the wall.
I'm not stuck. Everybody just left, and I don't know where you went, and I'm alone.
I'm a lost toy.
If you go further down that hallway a little bit, you'll find them.
You jerks,
All
leave
right.
me behind.
All right, so there is a door here leading into a. You're not sure exactly what, but it doesn't seem like structurally there's a whole lot of space there. I have pushed the button this time.
What? No, I meant I was listening to the door.
Oh, I thought you were snarkily telling me that I was inaudible again.
Snark is someone like me.
I hope you can hear the sound of my stare.
I
It
heard it.
doesn't need a button. Anyway, you don't hear anything on the other side of that door, nothing at all. It's very quiet.
I will attempt to open it and just confirm that it's a closet.
Well, it isn't locked, so when you open it, you see a library on the other side. A very, very small library.
Did I say nobody was in the library?
Indeed, there was just nobody in the library. There aren't that many books in here. It's a paltry few compared to the library that was once the one that Aviara studied in. However, she does recognize some of the titles, and it seems that some of the higher-end magic books were saved from the wreckage above in the fire.
That's comforting. That's the library. I think if we keep going, we might find the kitchen.
Was there any blank parchment and ink quills in the library?
I'll go back and look. Foop.
Aviara does find some blank paper and pens, quill. It seems like, it's been used to study things.
So Zima will take a piece of parchment and fold it in half, kind of like like a greeting card. And on the front of it, he will write cisterns and serpents, and then open it up, and inside he will write 1, enter cistern, 2, kill monsters, 3, take loot, 4, leave. He will then close it and put it on the shelf with the rest of the books.
Alright then.
I love that so
Good job,
much.
Zima. Great job.
Zima is now an author, I guess.
Yes.
Soon to be sewer
Gonna
famous.
wait for his royalties.
Yep.
On that
I
note,
did not know my parents. I don't know if I am royalty.
Hey,
as
we're
you
on the balcony.
indeed you are in the balcony, down below you can see the space where you fought the vine beast.
Oh.
It seemed that Zima's bellow would have been audible up here, but nobody answered.
There was nobody to hear.
What jerk?
Interesting.
So I have a feeling if we don't find food, we're going to get a very cranky Baron. So
You are correct, sir. I do get
Um,
hangry.
It begs the question of why there are pillars there that go up to nothingness.
Aesthetics, shut up.
maybe.
Who designed this place?
Aesthetics, alright? Shush.
a
They're
mad
pretty.
woman. A mad
Yes.
woman designed it.
They are
That
pretty.
too.
I will listen at the door.
Behind this one, you hear the sounds of people having conversation. You hear the soft clink of silverware and cutlery. It sounds like just general chatter. Nothing that sounds stressful or particularly intriguing. There seems to be a couple of students arguing about a paper.
I found the food.
Let's go.
Food.
I suggest we just go in and eat and not actually try to question anybody. Just maybe look around, Eden, and see if you see
So
food
not
yourself.
introduce ourselves, just walk in and start taking their food. Good idea.
Not their food. The food that's
It has been offered to us.
These
Oh.
guys don't know that.
open the door.
Food, please.
I think Aviara is at the end of her rope.
Indeed, in the room beyond, you can see several students studying. There's a couple of them at a table having an animated discussion about a term paper, it looks like, and there's one sitting at the table to the south there who is eating an apple. There's some cutlery scattered about. From the door to the south, you smell the scent of something cooking, and it definitely smells good. It's not, high-end food, but it's certainly stick-to-your-ribs kind of tavern food you'd expect in a place like this. Well, maybe not in a sewer, but from a school,
I
anyway.
don't know what sort of sewer you hang out in, but there's not usually tavern food.
Look, okay, I only hang out in the highest class sewers where there is tavern food.
Dijon sewers.
Indeed. Bespoke sewer system.
Can we stop calling it sewer food?
Don't eat the soup.
It's not very appetizing.
Appetite is ruined.
I will attempt
I'm
to
hungry,
ignore
guys.
Sewers were once food at one point, but let's not say we're going to.
Basically, at this point, my goal and intent is to keep playing to see how many sessions it takes to get Eviara to be sitting in a corner rocking herself, going, "He's useful. He's useful. He's useful. He's useful."
That's
Give
pretty
it
much
2
the
more
description of our
sessions.
marriage.
Wow.
In the kitchen, you find there's some soup bubbling away on the stove. There's
Ooh, don't eat the soup.
there is it's sort of like a sorcerer's apprentice. There's kind of things cutting themselves and preparing themselves for cooking. It's rather delightful and sort of feels homey to Aviara, who's used to being in this kind of environment, though the others might find it a little bit unusual.
Yeah. Bordeaux doesn't like it, but he's very hungry, so.
I think let's take some bread, because that seems safe.
Zima just goes and drops himself into his seat, which groans under his weight, and goes, "Hello, I am Zima."
Two students who were arguing over the paper both stop and then turn to look at him, and he's like twice the size of either of them, so this towering buff half-orc just plops down, and they're like, hello? I don't believe we've met?
We just did. I told you, I am Zima.
Oh,
Zima,
I
don't
meant,
scare the students.
I meant previously to now. Oh, he kind of rubs the back of his head. This is the gentleman on the left in purple. He's very narrow-boned, squirrely-looking little person who's probably spent most of his life at a desk, and his life hasn't been that long.
Edmund just eats his bread and observes and sees if he can see anything of interest. Or
The bread
anyone of
tastes
interest.
fabulous, by the way.
Warm.
It is very warm. It just came off of the oven, or it feels like it just did, and it's delightful and nutty and pretty much everything you'd want in a good piece of bread.
Does Edmund see anyone familiar?
The students here don't look familiar to him. So far, he hasn't seen anybody who resembles the elf who he saw casting, but from what he can tell, the students in this room also look rather young. If they had been here when the purge happened, they would have been very early teens at that time period, so it's... At least the three that he can see here seem unlikely to be behind that.
Edmund tries to catch Aviara's eye and shakes his head.
Oh, excuse me, to that guy.
Okay. The individual in the chair is right, yes, the button. Yes, thank you for the gesticulations. The individual in the chair there is a halfling, so even at his tallest, he would only be about up to Aviara's waist. So when she says something from behind him, he kind of cranes his head over backwards, like with a big grin on his face, like, "Hi,
Hi. Where does this door go?
that's to the dorms. You're awful pretty."
Thank you. Does he have food on the table in front of him?
He was the one who was eating an apple. He's got some food there, yeah.
Because I feel like Frost is investigating pretty thoroughly.
Oh. As Frost comes up and starts investigating, he looks over at the dog, who's easily the size of him, practically, and one does not argue with a dog the size of you. And, like, Frost doesn't seem too interested in the apple, but probably the bread and the cheese. Oh, the cheese.
Oh, cheese is gone. Cheese.
Oh, he pouts a little bit when the cheese, which it had stood alone, is no longer standing.
I'm so sorry. Do you know if anyone's in the dorms right now?
I think if most of us are in class or in here studying, or the professors, I don't think you can look. I mean, you're allowed to go in. I mean, if you're up here, I assume you're allowed to go in.
Yes, we spoke with the dean just a few moments ago. We're looking for someone.
Also, the scary lady.
Oh,
The scary lady did say that we could be here. I mean,
Yes.
Professor Grapple.
Also,
glaring at her.
She is a pretty scary lady. Just saying. You're welcome to look. There aren't that many of us here. Those who aren't in class are in here eating. There are some who are up in the city at this time of day, I think.
And kind of perks. Where would they be in the city?
Well, we send people up to buy supplies or do whatever. I mean, we're not prisoners down here, but they could be doing any number of things, I suppose.
Eden hurries over to the table. He doesn't have any parchment, so it's going to be kind of useless for him to draw anything. But are you familiar with everybody here?
I think so. Most of us are friends. There aren't that many, like I said.
Well, Eden takes a breath. Do you have any elves here?
I think we've got a couple, at least a few half-elves anyway.
Eden concentrates and tries to create an illusion of what he'd seen.
All right. Is that a... You have silent image or something like that, I think, right?
I have minor illusion.
Yeah, that would definitely
I
count
also
for
have
that.
a disguised self. I could turn myself into the person too.
You could do that, but minor illusion would work fine.
Okay.
So you cast minor illusion. It's obvious that it's not real. You know, it's minor illusion. It's not really super lifelike. But he squints at it and says, "That looks like Aldoon."
Aldoon.
We have a name.
Yes.
Does he happen to know how to summon wraiths?
I mean, I wouldn't know what he does or doesn't know. He left the school a little while ago. He graduated. Perhaps a couple months ago, before the end of the purge. I honestly, I thought he just left.
Did
So you don't know
him
if he had an internship lined up?
Certainly not in Scaevolanum. What was that, Eden?
Did you know him well?
I mean, as well as I know anybody, he was quiet, kept to himself for the most part. Did seem very interested in necromancy, but he just seemed like a decent enough person. I mean, necromancers aren't all bad. Some of them do wonderful things, like reuniting dead folks with their loved ones to have conversations and so on. Like, they're not all as awful as it seems like in the papers, I know.
Do they teach necromancy here?
Well, we did have some of the books. It's one of those arts that we don't really teach directly, but we certainly do discuss in classes. It's a perfectly valid study, you know, but most of the folks here don't tend toward that sort of thing. I know I don't. I prefer illusion magic myself.
If there were any professors that would help that, who would be a mentor for that art here?
He rubs his chin. I think the professor who dealt with the necromancy got killed in the purge, if I remember properly. I forgot I was wearing the mustache around my neck like a necklace. Great. Sitting here with this around my neck the entire time, forgetting it existed. Fantastic.
You haven't had to twirl it evilly yet.
No, I haven't. That must change.
I think now that we have a name, perhaps I should go speak with the dean.
I think that's an excellent
That
idea.
sounds like an amazing idea.
Oh, I'm about to take
Everyone
the soup
else,
off.
Food.
Yeah, if would you like to stay for dinner? We've got soup. It isn't from down here. I know that sounds suspect, but we bought the components up in the city just yesterday. I mean, this is a cistern, not a sewer, after all. The water and purified food and drink is one of the. Anyway, would you like soup?
I'm good with my bread, but if my companions would like to eat, I'm happy to go find the dean myself.
I would love some bread, and Frost is very sorry about your cheese, and he would love some soup.
Hi.
So
We're doing
Edwin
kind of-
lets them talk to the students and starts to go off on his own.
Okay.
Alrighty. Rallis, you've been very quiet, as has Henrik. What are you guys up to? Just kind of bebopping along?
Oh, I'm totally eating the whole time.
Oh, okay. He hasn't left the kitchen. Got it.
Yeah.
I'm following Eden.
All right. The two who are sitting at the table where Zima plopped down they've sort of resumed their discussion, but they keep shooting furtive, really concerned glances in his direction.
He was kind of nodding and looking back and forth between them like he has any idea what the hell they're talking about.
Fair enough.
Eden goes and knocks on the door where the dean was, looking back at Ral. Decided to not let me go on my own, huh?
It's always safer to travel in groups.
Well, with our luck, this guy is helping the necromancer. Knocks on the door again.
It takes him a moment to come to the door, but he does. He opens the door again and, recognizing you, says, yes, come in, please.
Eden steps in. This is Rallis.
Yes, I think,
You have a name.
oh, you have a name. Oh, well, he holds up his ink-stained fingers and sort of...
Yes.
The button.
He holds up his... Yes, the button. He holds up his ink-stained fingers and sort of looks down at them like, oh. Because he just spent this entire time writing out a list of possible names, but now is covered in ink and useless.
I'll do it.
Oh, yes. Well, he isn't here now. He graduated a little while back.
We spoke with one of the students, and I created an illusion, and he said that it looked like him, and that he was into necromancy before he left.
He looks at the drawing on the table, kind of pulling the other papers off of it. He'd obviously not really looked at it yet since he was too busy writing down names. He sort of got into the mode. And looks at it and squints and says, oh, yes, that could have been Aldun. Yes. Well, would you like these names anyway? He offers them to you, sort of please take them. I've put so much work into these.
I take it from his hand.
He seems grateful that at least somebody is appreciative. But yes, Aldun, he graduated 2 months ago, perhaps, a month ago, something like that. And left. He's certainly not living here now.
Do you
Any
have
idea where he might have gone?
Well, he was always... He wanted to do research into some sort of ruins or some history or something. I'm not sure why he was... He sort of rubs the back of his head He left before magic was legal, so honestly I'd always sort of assumed that he'd come to a rather sticky and abrupt end.
Well, it seems like he is bringing sticky and abrupt ends.
That's horrible. If he's doing such a thing, it certainly isn't sanctioned by any of us here.
He's definitely trying to make it harder for you. Does he have any reason to hold a grudge?
Not against us. He graduated and left. It was last time I saw him, it was on good terms. I mean, I don't know why he'd have issues with us.
Do you have any means of locating him?
I could try a scrying spell, but I think he took everything he owned with him. I'd have to consider that. Perhaps... He glances over his shoulder at the door behind him. We don't have that much for supplies down here or room for ritual magic. We've sort of had to cram as much as we can into a very small space, but perhaps if I can get to my old office, I might be able to... He sort of trails off in obvious, deep and concerned thought.
Do we have anything that might have been touched by his magic?
Not
Well-
directly, I don't believe.
Mordeaux's shirt. The wraiths cut it.
Hmm.
He looks over to the dean. Would something touched by a thing that he summoned help you?
Yeah, the connection would be very tenuous, but I might be able to come up with something. It would take me some time, though. That kind of thing, that's just not just a simple scrying spell. You need a deeper connection for that, but I might be able to... If I retroactively... You can see gears turning in his head.
And looks over to Ral and you're the history nerd. Are there what are the runes that might have been spoken of?
I don't know. I looked to the dean. What ruins were he so interested in?
I know he was interested in where the dwarves came from before they settled Scaevolanum, which was a very long time ago. Since, dwarves are, by nature, tend to be mountain dwellers and subterranean, but obviously here we live on the plains. So my guess would be somewhere in the mountains, but I'm not sure what his purpose in such a thing was. It's just, he was always reading books about the history of pre-Scaevolanum dwarfish culture, which I always thought was strange, because he's an elf. Maybe he thinks there's something in those ruins that could... I mean, there were items of power left behind.
Do you recognize where those could be, Rallis?
Let me check my history knowledge.
Hold, please.
Hey!
Very nice.
I might.
Yeah, Rallis has a pretty good knowledge of the area, and he also knows about the dwarves before they settled Scaevolanum, and in fact knows that there were great deep mines in the mountains not too far from here. The dwarves had to leave because they broke through something far too deep and unleashed something.
Like they do.
As they do. They delved too deep and too greedily.
One does not simply walk into Mordor.
Does Zima count as a cave troll?
No, I am not troll. My people find that offensive.
It's a good thing you're not there to hear it.
I'm just kidding. I don't even know my people.
Well, there are some mines not too far from here, Eden. If he is, it's possible he's using them as a base of operations. Are they close enough to the city to be used for that kind of purpose?
It would take a couple of days to get from the city to here, but it depends on what he was doing and how often he made the trip. That said, it also, depending on how good a magic user he is, he could just be teleporting.
Yeah. It might be worth looking into.
Well, perhaps the person who studied magic would know a little bit more about the travel methods that he might be able to use.
The dean at this point is somewhere in his own head. He's stopped responding and is sort of like muttering to himself and has walked over to his desk and is sketching and drawing things out as though you don't exist.
I don't think he's going to be any more help. Should we go tell the others what we found out?
I suppose. Wizards.
Don't look at me, I just sing. He just starts out and goes back towards the cafeteria. Definitely getting my exercise today.
All right, back with the others. As you are waiting for Eden and Rallis to rejoin you, are you doing anything else of note?
So Zima points to one of the papers the two kids are working on and says, "By the way, I think your math is wrong on that equation. You might want to rework it."
The young mage looks up, looks at Zima, frowns a couple times, and looks back at the equation and starts muttering numbers. And starts redoing, like, the whole thing. It was a really complicated series of equations, too.
Just to note, Zima has no idea what it was.
We know.
Is Aviaris just still eating?
She took
Kicking
her bread
Zima under the
over
ch-
just to try to be a calming presence near these two terrified children.
Just kick Zima under the chair.
A couple of glances, but there's not much she can do, so she's just, Frost has devoured the soup really quickly.
Jay just failed his strength save trying to open his drink.
Oh, you try it.
No! My strength score is far lower than yours.
So it glued itself on.
That doesn't mean I won't make fun of you for it.
Is Henrik still eating?
Yes.
He's very hungry.
He's always hungry.
He's a hungry boy. All right. So Eden and Rallis enter the room to see Zima torturing the two students and Aviara giving him just this... yeah, that look. Frost is eating a large piece of cheese. Like, the halfling whose cheese was swiped has produced more and has just been feeding Frost cheese. So she gets to deal with that later. Yeah.
Forgot about that.
That's your problem now.
Great.
Eden kind of looks to Ral. You're the one that has the knowledge. You tell them.
So
Tell us?
the dean was aware of who the former student was that we identified, the Alduin. He said he was very interested in some dwarven ruins a couple days from the city. It's possible that he's been holding up there or using it as some sort of base of operations. We'd have to look into it more to find out.
It sounds like more exploring.
I confess I'm comforted that it's no one here.
Well, I didn't seem to want to fight again tonight anyway.
Especially not against kids.
He doesn't mean you to.
I did mean you to. I'm glad I don't have to fight you.
The students just kind of like, we don't want to fight you either. One of them
We won't
casts dancing lights as an attempt to look at the shiny
He
thing.
turned himself
Yes.
houndstooth.
No, this one actually manages to not turn himself colors doing it, despite,
That's very good. Have you been practicing?
Yes, lots. I'm able to do this, and I can do ghost sound. Oh, hold on. He turns and wiggles his fingers at a corner, and you hear the sound of Zima laughing from the other side of the room.
You have his voice down great.
Well, he's been definitely talking some.
The
You're
last thing I need is
short of
multiple
far.
Zimas.
So, why don't we...
tormenting these poor children and make our way out.
Maybe using the teleportation circle.
And not the water.
Not the water.
Zima will stand in the lad that cast the sound.
Mm-hmm.
He thumps him on the shoulder, nice and firm. Good. Keep up the good magic.
The kid like chokes and falls out of the chair and sort of wheezes a "thank you" from the floor. And with that, the group makes their way out up towards the dean's office, where he gladly uses the teleportation circle to send them up into one of the buildings above. And we will leave it there for this week because it is about closing time.
Hey.
Aw.
We don't
I'm
have
sorry.
to go home, but we can't stay here.
More
Indeed. Uh, no, thank you, everybody, for sticking with us despite the technology gremlins that snuck in. We are still learning how to use all of this blasted stuff. We are glad you were here with us. Thank you to all of my players. You guys are fabulous. I love you. And we will see you guys next week. Also, if you guys don't know about it yet, please, I think up above us, there is a link to our Discord community channel if you would like to join the Discord community and have the opportunity to harass our players in real time. You are welcome to do that, or I could glitch. I'm staring at you. What are you doing? Why are you... Jason, what are you doing? He's doing the Macarena. He's doing the Macarena. Got it.
I wasn't doing the Macarena.
It is to me, okay? I did summon you. I have summoned you. Can you please post an invite link to our Discord channel in the stream chat? Thank you so much. And also, as always, thank you very much to Glitch for moderating and keeping an eye on the chat, as well as letting us know about any kind of, that is adorable, Squishy Cthulhu, about letting us know about any kind of tech issues. So thank you so much, and we will see you guys next Tuesday. Have a good night.
Good night.